The silence of deep space was broken by an urgent alarm at the Galactic Border Defense Station. Commander Vec, a high-ranking officer of the Galactic Council, stared at the glowing red warning on the central screen. An unidentified warship was approaching at incredible speed, moving straight toward the restricted zone. "This can't be right," Vec muttered, double-checking the readings. The ship's energy signature was completely unknown, its design unlike anything recorded in the galactic database. "Try to establish communication," he ordered. The signal was sent, but there was no response. The warship kept advancing, ignoring all hails. The station's defense team, a mix of different alien species, exchanged nervous glances. Ships that ignored Council protocols were usually pirates, smugglers, or rogue warlords, but this one was different, larger, faster, and far more advanced. "Commander, should we deploy the defense fleet?" asked Lieutenant Ral, his voice tense. Vec hesitated. The Galactic Council followed strict rules of engagement. Attacking first could start a war, but letting an unknown warship enter restricted space was too dangerous. "Send another warning," Vec said. "Inform them that if they do not stop, we will open fire." The message was sent, but the ship didn't stop. Instead, it adjusted its trajectory, now heading straight for the nearest outpost. "They're challenging us," Ral whispered. Vec clenched his fists. "Activate the defense grid. Prepare to fire." The station's automated turrets powered up, locking onto the incoming warship. A final warning was transmitted. When no response came, Vec gave the order. "Fire." Energy beams shot through the darkness, striking the warship's hull. But instead of exploding, the beams simply vanished. The warship kept moving as if nothing had happened. "What? That's impossible," one of the technicians gasped. Before anyone could react, the warship responded. A pulse of blue energy erupted from its core, sweeping across the entire station. The control panels flickered, then shut down. The weapons went offline. The entire station was powerless. Panic spread through the command room. "We've lost control. We're completely defenseless." Vec's mind raced. This wasn't just some rogue warship. This was something else. Something far more advanced than anything the Council had ever seen. And worst of all, it had just declared war. Darkness filled the Galactic Defense Station. Every screen, every control panel, every weapon system had gone completely dead. The once bustling command center was now eerily silent, except for the labored breathing of panicked officers. Commander Vec gritted his teeth, forcing himself to remain calm. He had led countless operations, but never had he faced an enemy capable of shutting down an entire station with a single pulse. "Status report," he demanded. Lieutenant Ral frantically tapped at his console, but nothing responded. "Sir, all systems are offline. No power, no communications. We're blind and defenseless." The unidentified warship drifted closer. It didn't fire. It didn't broadcast a message. It simply loomed in the darkness, watching, studying. "Try manual overrides," Vec ordered. The crew rushed to activate emergency controls, but the systems remained frozen. Whatever had hit them wasn't just an EMP, it was something far more advanced. Then the ship moved again. A small pod detached from its underbelly, gliding silently toward the station. Vec's stomach twisted. He knew what was coming. "They're boarding us," he said grimly. The security team scrambled to prepare, gripping their weapons tightly. But Vec wasn't sure if bullets or plasma rifles would even work against whoever was on that ship. The pod docked at the airlock. A moment of absolute silence followed. Then, with a soft hiss, the doors slid open. The first figure stepped inside. It was humanoid, taller than most species in the Galactic Council, covered in sleek, armored plating. Its eyes glowed faintly in the dim emergency lighting, scanning the room with an unsettling calm. More figures followed, each moving with the precise efficiency of trained warriors. Vec instinctively took a step back. "Identify yourselves," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. The lead figure stopped. Then, for the first time, it spoke. "You are in violation of Earth's security perimeter." The voice was deep, mechanical, yet disturbingly human. "This sector is now under Terran control." Vec's heart pounded. Earth. The humans were supposed to be an insignificant species, a minor player in the galactic scene. But this was something else. This was a power the galaxy was not prepared for, and the invasion had just begun. News of the Galactic Defense Station's complete shutdown spread like wildfire across the Council planets. For centuries, the Galactic Council had ruled over the known universe with order and strength. No species had ever dared to challenge their authority. Until now. The word was whispered in hushed voices across every communication channel. Humans. On the Council's homeworld, representatives from dozens of species gathered in a state of chaos. The hall buzzed with overlapping voices, fear thick in the air. How do they disable an entire station without firing a single shot? A reptilian diplomat hissed. What kind of technology are they using? An avian general squawked, his feathers ruffled with unease. Are we already at war? A pale-skinned ambassador asked, his voice shaking. At the center of the chamber, Grand Chancellor Xeric raised a hand, demanding silence. His 4 golden eyes scanned the room. "Panic will not save us," he said sternly. "We must assess the situation before we act recklessly." A holographic projection flickered to life above the council table, displaying the massive human warship now stationed in galactic territory. The ship was sleek, black, and unlike anything the council had ever encountered. It emitted energy signals so advanced that even the most powerful council scanners struggled to analyze them. A military officer stepped forward. "Our fleet is ready for engagement, Chancellor. Just give the order, and we will wipe them out." Xeric's gaze darkened. "Are you certain of that, General?" The officer hesitated. The truth was, no one knew the full extent of the human ship's capabilities. It had taken control of an entire space station without even using its weapons. What else could it do? Before the council could decide, an alert blared through the chamber. "Urgent message received. It's from the humans." Every representative fell silent. The council had expected an invasion, a declaration of war, something aggressive. But instead, the humans had sent a message. Xeric turned toward the communication officer. "Play it." The hologram shifted, revealing a human figure clad in an advanced combat suit. The face was hidden behind a dark visor, but the voice was unmistakably calm, unshaken. "This is Commander Elias Voss of the Terran Expeditionary Fleet." The message began. "We are not here to conquer. We are here to deliver a message." Xeric narrowed his eyes. "And what message is that?" The hologram continued. "The balance of power in this galaxy is about to change." The message cut off. Silence filled the chamber. And in that silence, fear took root. The humans weren't asking for war. They were announcing their arrival. And the galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Council chamber remained silent long after the human message ended. The hologram had disappeared, but its words echoed in every mind present. The balance of power in this galaxy is about to change. Chancellor Xeric sat motionless, his golden eyes locked on the empty space where the message had played. Around him, the council members shifted uneasily, whispering among themselves. "Their confidence is unnerving," murmured an insectoid ambassador, his mandibles clicking. "Confidence," a reptilian general spat. That was a threat. The murmurs turned into a roar as council members argued. Some demanded immediate retaliation. Humans had breached their space, taken control of their systems, and now they dared to deliver a cryptic message of change. Others warned against rash action. If humans had such advanced technology, an open war could be disastrous. Xeric raised a hand, and the chamber fell into a tense silence. "Enough. We cannot allow fear to dictate our response. We need facts. What do we know about this vessel?" A technician stepped forward and activated a new hologram. showing detailed scans of the human warship. We have confirmed that the vessel has disabled our defense network without conventional weaponry. Our best analysts believe they used some form of cyber warfare far beyond our understanding. Their ship remains stationary, as if waiting for a response. A deep voice rumbled from the shadows. Perhaps they are testing us. All eyes turned to Admiral Jor, the oldest and most experienced military strategist in the Council. His hulking form stood apart from the others, his war-scarred exoskeleton a testament to centuries of battle. "Explain," Exarch said. Jor stepped forward, his heavy footsteps echoing. "No species reveals its strength without purpose. They are watching us, studying how we react. If we attack in fear, they will know we are weak. If we grovel, they will know we are weak. We must respond with caution, but also with strength." A silence followed his words. Finally, Exarch spoke. "Then we will send a response. No threats, no submission. We will demand answers." The council members exchanged glances, some uncertain, some nodding in agreement. "Prepare a diplomatic envoy," Exarch commanded, "and inform the humans. The Galactic Council wishes to speak." As the message was sent, tension gripped the entire galaxy. For the first time in history, the ruling powers of the cosmos would face humanity, and no one knew what would happen next. A massive Galactic Council warship, the Vorthan Spear, emerged from hyperspace just outside the human vessel's position. Unlike traditional battleships, this one carried no visible weapons. Instead, its shimmering hull radiated authority. It was a diplomatic envoy, but one that could withstand a direct assault if needed. Inside, Chancellor Exarch stood before a large holographic display, watching the human warship. It remained motionless, almost as if waiting. "Open communications," Exarch ordered. A deep hum filled the air as the transmission connected. The screen flickered, then revealed a human figure standing in a dimly lit room. He wore a uniform unlike anything the Council had ever seen, sleek, efficient, and bearing an insignia unknown to them. His expression was calm, unreadable. "I am Captain Elias Vaughn of the Horizon's Edge," the human said. "And you are?" Exarch stepped forward. "I am Chancellor Exarch of the Galactic Council. You have entered restricted space. We demand an explanation." Captain Vaughn tilted his head slightly. "Demand." His voice remained neutral, but something in his tone made the air in the chamber grow heavy. "I would choose your words carefully, Chancellor." The council members watching the broadcast shifted uneasily. Exarch straightened. "This is no minor violation. You disabled our defense grid. You made no attempt at standard first contact procedures. And now you deliver cryptic messages about change without explanation." Vaughn smiled slightly. "We are here to observe, and to offer a choice." The chamber fell silent. "A choice?" Exarch narrowed his eyes. "What kind of choice?" Vaughn took a step closer to the screen. "Your galaxy has grown, comfortable. Empires expand, wars are fought, but the true potential of sentient life remains shackled by outdated ideas of power. Humanity believes it is time for evolution. We are here to see who will embrace it, and who will resist." Exarch clenched his fists. "And if we refuse?" Vaughn's expression remained unchanged. "Then history will remember what happened next." The transmission cut off. For a moment, no one spoke. Then the chamber erupted into chaos. "They mean to overthrow us. This is an ultimatum. We must strike first." Exarch remained still, his mind racing. The humans had not threatened him outright, but their presence alone was a declaration of power. They were not seeking allies. They were reshaping the very fabric of galactic order. And the Council had only moments to decide how to respond. The Galactic Council chamber was in complete disarray. Voices clashed, arguments erupted, and fear spread like wildfire. The human warship, Horizon's Edge, remained motionless in deep space, but its presence alone had shattered the illusion of control the Council once held. Chancellor Xeric stood at the center, his mind torn between logic and survival. The humans had not fired a single shot, yet their message was clear. They were not to be ignored. "They're toying with us," Admiral Carthan growled, his sharp mandibles clicking in frustration. "We should assemble the fleet and strike first." "Against what?" Councillor Vena, a reptilian diplomat, countered. "Their single warship disabled our entire defense grid without effort. What do you think a fleet of theirs could do? We cannot bow to them." Carthan slammed his fist on the table. "If we submit now, we may as well hand over the entire galaxy." Xeric raised a hand for silence. "Enough. We need to decide our course of action. War or negotiation." A heavy silence fell over the room. Just then, a communication officer burst into the chamber, pale and shaking. "Chancellor, we have detected new movement from the human warship." Xeric turned sharply. "What kind of movement?" The officer hesitated. It's transmitting coordinates. A meeting point, far outside any known star systems. It's an invitation." Murmurs spread through the chamber. "An unknown sector. Why there?" Councillor Vena exhaled. "They could have destroyed us by now if they wanted to. Perhaps this is their way of avoiding bloodshed, or leading us into a trap," Carthan muttered. Xeric felt the weight of the decision pressing down on him. The galaxy stood at the precipice of change. One wrong step could mean war. One moment of hesitation could mean surrender. Finally, he turned to the officer. "Send a response. We will meet them on their terms." Across the void of space, the horizon's edge received the transmission. Inside, Captain Vaughn smiled. "The Council has chosen," he murmured. "Now, let's see if they are ready for what comes next." The Galactic Council's delegation arrived at the designated coordinates, an empty void beyond any known star systems. A single human warship, Horizon's Edge, floated silently in the darkness, its massive hull illuminated only by the distant glow of dying stars. Chancellor Xeric and his team stood aboard their diplomatic vessel, waiting. No escorts, no hidden fleets, just one human warship against the might of the entire Galactic Council. It was an act of arrogance, or absolute confidence. A transmission came through. A human face appeared on the screen. Captain Vaughn, his expression calm but unreadable. "You came," Vaughn said. "That's a good start." Xeric stepped forward. "You demanded this meeting. Tell us, what do you want?" Vaughn leaned back in his chair. "To set the record straight." He gestured toward the void. "We didn't come here to conquer. We didn't come here to bow. We came to make one thing clear. Humanity is not to be threatened." Councillor Vena exchanged glances with the others. "Your arrival destabilized our entire defense network. You held our fleets hostage without firing a shot. Do you call that peaceful?" Vaughn smiled. "You fired the first shot when you placed Earth under surveillance, when you debated whether to conquer us before we became a problem. We simply showed you why that was a mistake." A tense silence followed. Then, Xeric spoke, his voice heavy. "If we leave here today, what happens next? Will there be war?" Vaughn's expression darkened. "That depends on you. Humanity doesn't seek war, but we will never run from one. If the Council chooses peace, we will respect it. If you choose conflict," his voice dropped, "you've seen what one of our ships can do. Imagine what an entire fleet could accomplish." The message was clear. The Council had a choice: continue the path of hostility or recognize humanity as an equal force in the galaxy. After a long pause, Xeric nodded. "Then let this be the beginning of a new understanding. The Council will convene. We will decide, together." Vaughn's smile returned. "That's all we wanted to hear." The transmission ended. The Council's ship turned back toward their territory, carrying a decision that would shape the galaxy's future. And aboard the Horizon's Edge, Vaughn watched them go, knowing that no matter what they chose, humanity was ready.